welcome to the new season of the Undiscovered Decade. This is our second year going into this. We are now in 1991. This is a podcast and a video series that looks back at the 1990s. For us, at least so far, it's been an undiscovered decade because we were pretty young when these movies came out. So we like to find some hidden gems that maybe either we never heard about or had overlooked when we started becoming cinephiles. And today we're looking at the most difficult month to find something of quality, January, typically the death month for cinema, because this is where they bury things after the Oscar season. So our episode today is Eve of Destruction. It starred Gregory Hines, and when Corey described it to us, it was basically Lady Terminator with Gregory Hines, like a ripoff of that.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
Well, they sprinkle in a little species in there as well.
A little bit of
It's
species,
a little bit of a
a
mix.
little.
The thing I said to you was I appreciated that Terminator 3 didn't go the route that this film did, which was try to make her a little bit of a sex pot, which is what Species does, which
Right.
also was after this.
Yeah.
But there's at least a motive in that.
Yeah, those two films actually matter.
I mean, they had a bigger budget too.
Pretty much, the plot doesn't go much further than this. There's a scientist named Eve. I'm forgetting her last name.
Simmons.
Eve, and she's
Simpson.
a robot that is basically her. She's inserted her memories and feelings into it, and it's gotten loose. You don't need to care why. It just kind of does.
Yeah.
And the only person that can take it down is Gregory Hines because he's a killer. And so these two military men get him, sign him up, and send him out in the field to try and stop her. And this robot is going down the path of some trauma that had happened in Eve's younger days. And that's it. And then he keeps chasing her, and then he gets to her, and there's a final showdown. So
It's
And
amusing.
One actor played two roles and got paid the same amount as Gregory Hines.
if not less,
If not
it was 1991. Her name is Renee Soutendijk. I don't know how to say this because it is a Dutch name. I don't know if you'd heard of her before, Corey.
She's been in a few Paul Verhoeven movies, The Fourth Man and Spetters.
Mm-hmm. I'd never heard of her, but she's a Natasha Henstridge type. So I get,
You'd think for a woman who got to show off her tatas, like she'd be more well known now, but you know,
she went, according to the Wikipedia, she went straight back to Dutch films, and she's been working this whole time. But she's been back in the Netherlands.
She's just in the Suspiria remake, apparently.
Yeah, that's like her first English language film in 30 years.
Yeah.
You could tell just from the debriefing at the Pentagon or wherever they are that Gregory Hines is tuned out of this. This is a paycheck gig.
Yeah, this is
For sure.
Every scene he's in, you see in his eyes, he's like sci-fi paycheck, sci-fi paycheck.
sci-fi.
There's one point they're at they go into the kitchen of this honky tonk bar, and she's trying to do some exposition. He's like, get on with it. Like it was getting close to his rap time.
Yeah.
It's like I got a line of coke to do.
They yells at a Teamster that walks in.
He yells at me. He knocks something down in that scene when he gets angry at the Teamster, and I feel like he actually knocked it down and just like, fine. They didn't want to do this shot again. So
Yeah.
You can see him just regret his decision as the movie goes on, like, which works for the character because honestly, he's the best part. He's like every black person who's ever like had to clean up the white scientist bullshit throughout the movie, like.
in that Pentagon,
Says everything. He's like, you didn't put an off switch on it. You didn't do like,
Yeah, he asked the obvious questions.
right.
He's
yells
even
at somebody.
introduced with one of those cliche, you think it's a mission, but it turns out to be an exercise scenes.
it was a good scene too. I wish it was actually a mission. That would be a better way to introduce someone of his caliber.
Yeah.
Of
his
Like it's his
caliber.
team, and they use that team later. Then you know his team will back him up no matter what. It's not a group of rookies.
I mean, it's kind of funny that like you have this secret agent type dude, and he's training these military guys for like a hostage situation at the beginning of the movie. But then like you assume that they're like, you know, special operation forces, but then you find out later in the movie they're Marines.
Yeah.
Like they establish it like way later in the movie when they catch up with Eve for like a second time or almost catch up.
They catch up like 3 times.
She kills 2 of them. There's like 2 Marines down. I'm like, they were Marines?
And not very
They're Navy SEALs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you'd think
we just kind of assume. Yeah, they probably use Marine as a catch-all military term. Just like they know Marines. They're special.
It's the 90s, so like I guess.
Yeah, people didn't really look in and double check on that.
Yeah, they do like
this kind of thing.
Which is probably why they made Charlie Sheen in Navy SEALs later. They're like, you know what? We need to make we need to make a proper special.
Well, that was before this. Yeah. Corey brought that up a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And it wasn't good, he said.
Horrible.
I've never seen it, and I know it's not good.
The motivation behind Eve's destruction is very muddled. I don't think she's given a clear objective.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's maybe the downfall of this movie. I like the idea of having created someone of a robot based on yourself, and then you have to take it down. That's fine, but then there's no real problem other than she's also got a nuclear bomb inside her.
Like
they neglect to tell Gregory Hines
a little later in the movie.
It's like they realized they didn't have a motive for her, and then they decided
she wasn't really much of a threat other than like she's a rogue robot going around.
Right. And then it's just like, oh my God, there's something important that we should tell him, but I can't quite remember what it is until he's left the room and is halfway to find her.
Nuclear device inside of her.
Right. You know.
Yeah. That also didn't necessarily make sense because she shot a bunch of places. They never really said where did they.
She got shot in the kind of almost the gut. She got shot in the chest. That's really the only 2 spots that they established that she gets shot.
Well, I don't remember them saying where it is because they say the heart's not really the heart, so she's not pumped with blood, but she has electricity going through her. That's what powers her. And then they don't say where the nuclear bomb is. Like, wouldn't that be important? Like, obviously, they tell Gregory Hines the kill switch essentially is if you shoot her through the eyes.
Yeah, like you can't shoot her anywhere else because nothing happens. But like if shoot, like I think that's where her core processor is. Basically, her brain.
It's like a zombie.
So, yeah.
But then where's the nuclear bomb? Like if he shoots her in the chest, will that blow her up? Because she's activated at one point because she gets hit.
Well, the thing about nuclear bombs, it's like you're basically forcing 2 atoms to go into each other to cause a chain reaction. So like if you shoot it, then like it does nothing. It's not
a metaphor because both Eves are the atoms.
So like,
but
also like
I got it.
If they really developed the writing for this movie, they could really like just up the whole like metaphor for the bomb being, you know.
Maybe we shouldn't have put it inside someone.
Yeah. Well, I mean the metaphor for like, you know, she's a woman and she's has a lot of repressed emotions that's gonna just blow up.
So you're saying they shouldn't have had a lead scientist be a woman?
I'm just saying they could have done a whole lot more to roll with it, but they didn't. It kind of just feels like they threw in the nuclear bomb in there, just like, well, the Cold War is over. So like,
they even
in there to up the stakes.
At some point, they're like, if this goes off, who are we gonna blame? They're like, I don't know, just name like the Libyans or whoever's at the top of your shit list.
Iranians, some brown people.
I'm like,
yeah. They also don't seem to care that Eve then goes to New York City. Like, as the real Eve goes to help Gregory Hines take her fake person down, she leaves her son with her ex-husband in New York, but doesn't warn them, like, there's a possibility you won't be safe. Yeah. Because she realizes it too late a little bit, too. But, like, if you know there's a danger at all, like, maybe stay away from metropolitan area.
Yeah, maybe make a phone call when you're on a plane going to New York.
Yeah, they
trying to catch up with the robot.
Yeah, they don't even try to tell him, like, go somewhere else because we know the robot's going to your house. They just stake the house out. Yeah. There's no logic to any
there's a lot of just
plot holes. I feel like this was like they spent all their money on Gregory Hines and the helicopter, and they had way less time.
They spent the money on 2 helicopters and a Blackbird.
Well, 3 rides on the helicopter, I was going to say.
Right.
But yeah.
I mean, it was 2 different helicopters
Yeah, it
because of
was.
different paint jobs.
Which is bad.
Unless like they used one helicopter and painted it twice.
Yeah, because the first one got caught in the electrical wires.
Yeah,
They landed.
They got a guy that just got out of flight school. It was like, so we're gonna need you to fly a helicopter for a B movie.
It's the same one that was doing Robert Downey stunt work in Air America.
You'll get to meet that awesome tap dancing guy. Oh man, we'll be doing tap dancing. Maybe we haven't finished the script yet.
Yeah, I wonder if
that would have been the best climax.
This is the interesting thing. We didn't really get to do any research on this because what we did this time was we tried to record as we watched to see if we could do like some funny commentary like MS3TK style. At least in the Wikipedia, there isn't any indication that there were any other actors for this. So I feel like Gregory Hines was their first and only choice, but or at least the first person that they asked.
Like an extended cameo.
As we go, but I don't know. What else did you guys think? Did you think I liked Renee Eve Simmons?
Yeah.
How did you feel about her?
I mean, she was a little. Well, her character was a little flat, and I don't mean her boobs.
We definitely saw that.
Oh yeah, no. We might guff over that.
This was
for a little while.
Cinemax.
That was probably the most exciting thing about the movie. Is like you got to see boobs.
Yeah, how much they were real though, I don't know, because there was a lot of prosthetic boobs, clearly, because they're peeling them off at one point.
I mean, yeah, no, you got to see real boobs and fake boobs.
Speaking of that, like they really set the tone when they introduce her 6-year-old son. Like his first line in the movie is "Those are tits," as he's pointing.
Oh, and drawn boobs.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
That was very odd.
You know,
I do have one. James Belushi. I was almost given this role.
That
he had
actually might have been better.
Oh no! You can't.
Business.
Gregory Hines yells at the movie for us.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Jim.
Or he scowls at it. There's a couple times where she's giving exposition and he just looks at her dead eyes.
Literally, just like you did not think this through.
There was actually a couple shots where his eye would just start twitching, and I'm wondering if that's not because of like him acting, but him legitimately twitching at the situation that he's in.
I do believe that a lot of his disbelief was not acting.
Really, his process in his head was like, "You wrote this? Okay."
Yeah.
This is the thing that someone wrote down, and someone put money into an account to make this movie.
Somehow, this had less effort in the screenwriting department than a Canon film, and it felt like a Canon film.
I'm sorry, what? A Canon film?
Like Missing in Action or Cobra, stuff like that.
Okay. Why is it called a Canon film? I'm just trying to educate.
That's the company name.
Oh, okay, right, got it. I thought you meant like there was like a whole other series of movies that.
Oh no.
Or Canon.
Yeah, this was the almost non-canonical one.
No, but if they made this like 2 years ago, it would have been Bruce Willis in the Gregory Hines role. He would have been in 2 locations. There would have been a stunt double for all the action scenes.
Yeah.
And somehow he would have been even less enthusiastic with the dialogue.
Yeah, so I'm reading about this. Duncan Gibbons was the director. He was kind of a music video director. So he only did a couple of films, and this is very interesting. He apparently died 2 years later in the
Shane?
Yeah, right.
Wow.
In wildfires that spread across California.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He had escaped initially, but went back in to rescue his cat. He was found a couple days later. The cat was alive, but its ears were burned off. The interesting thing is he did 2 other movies, one called Fire with Fire and the other called Third Degree Burn.
No.
Wow. That's
I feel bad for the guy.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, he was only 41. Anyway.
Didn't Vic Morrow do a movie called Helicopter Down?
Oh my God. You'll find this interesting, Corey, as a fan of the Halloween movie.
Yeah.
Two of the guys that played Mike Myers in the 4th one are in this. One of the robbers, I believe the one that shoots at him, is according to this. or tries to shoot or shoots her watcher and then her, and she kills him in
Yeah.
the scene. And then one of the patrolmen that stop her at the hotel, they're both two of the different. There's a couple Mike Myers in the fourth one, just to like throw us off as audience members.
Right.
And the two of them were in that together. So
Oh wow.
I guess they were just like available for this as well.
They're just stunned, man, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. So they can take squibs and such.
Yeah.
You said at the end you made a joke about, was it Frank Langella? You thought the guy looked like?
He
thought
does
that
look
too.
like Frank
I thought
Langella to me.
I thought the same thing.
That guy was on JAG. He was the commander in chief of the area. His name's John M. Jackson. I haven't seen him in anything else, but he was on that show for like 12 years or however long the show lasted. So that's pretty much what he jumped into after this, because I believe that premieres in 92, 93. So, but it was the only time I've ever seen him have hair. So he usually is just completely bald or shaven. So
there's a little bit of hair.
It's just kind of funny because the climax of the film hinges on him walking through the apartment and trying to save the son, the hostage, I guess.
Yeah.
I think we were the hostage.
And then he unceremoniously just died in the elevator.
The viewers were the hostage.
Died.
I resisted Stockholm Syndrome. I didn't fall for it.
I feel like there's got to be a director's cut kicking around somewhere.
We never got to
it. That never got released.
The Snyder cut of Use of Destruction.
So that kid, though, that we saw, it was actually his first film, Ross Malinger, who ended up being the kid from Sleepless in Seattle. So he was famous in that. His whole job in this film was just to wail as his.
I was gonna say he whimpers pretty good in this.
Yeah, no, that the kid that he plays, Timmy, right? It was Timmy, right? Timmy. Every now and then I thought it was Jimmy. It was like, me, it's me. No, it's not me. But no, that kid's got tinnitus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and especially since the gunfires was going on in a subway, he's deaf for the rest of his life.
It's kind of funny.
Not to mention being traumatized by the fact that, like, you know,
his mom killed his mom.
The climax of the movie was watching his mom kill his mom, and you know, just the sheer gore of his real mother stabbing a facsimile of his mother in the eye with a firearm.
Yeah, no, that kid's gonna have a lot of therapy. The therapist was like, so how did you feel about that? What?
Right.
Speak directly in the cochlear implant.
We didn't talk about two of the other actors. They're the bumbling idiots that run the Pentagon. One of which is Kurt Fuller, who we know from Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters 2.
Oh, 2, right. He's basically, this is his kind of role that he fits in so well. Like, he means well, but he's kind of an asshole to you to make sure you get the job done, but he doesn't know any better, so he can't do it himself.
He's a weasel.
Or sometimes he just leans into the assholery because he knows what he's doing. Like, we just watched him in.
We only have 15 minutes till this bomb goes off. Why didn't we evacuate?
I can only push so many papers.
It's just, I mean, I was interested in this movie because a number of years ago I found a VHS copy of it at a yard sale, and I'm like, this looks ridiculous. Is Gregory Hines fighting an evil robot lady? I need to watch this. And then finally we had the opportunity to.
See what happens when your wishes get granted?
It went about as well as I expected.
Yeah.
But
what a way to ring in season 2.
Right?
What are you going to do in January, though? Like, there's so many of these films. There wasn't much else that we could have talked about.
There's a great movie that we could have talked about.
We didn't know. Did you watch it this month, I'm guessing?
I did, yeah.
There's not much else we can say about this film.
I mean,
not really. It's a B movie, like Jimmy said.
I like Gregory Hines because I like Gregory Hines already.
Right. He's pretty lethargic in the movie, though. He's coasting through this.
But he was even coasting. He was still the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
By far.
What would you give this?
A D.
Yeah, I'd give it a D too.
Yeah, this is probably the D.
Yeah, this is
I'm gonna go C plus.
like my
plus.
giving movies like
It's almost positive.
A minuses,
Yeah.
A plus. Like this is my first D.
Well, this is the thing we set out to do. We wanted to try and find a hidden gem, and we looked at this and we're like, what if people don't understand it? No, you understand it.
It's a misunderstood
I understood it.
sleeper.
Yeah. But I mean, I love
Sorry for dragging y'all into this.
so
This was
it
my
wasn't
vote
the
this
worst
month.
thing to do
Yeah,
on
I
Easter
mean,
Sunday.
It's I mean, it wasn't a terrible movie. It
Yeah,
was.
it was. Yeah, it was.
It was a passing grade.
Terrible movie.
But you know,
I've seen a lot worse films.
Well, yeah.
yeah.
Have
Not from
similar-
1991 yet.
Right.
True. I'll have to look at my list, see if I saw anything worse. Anyway, you were going to say, what were some of the better films that happened?
Oh, okay. Once Around, a
Hmm.
great film. I hadn't seen it yet. It's Lasse Hallström, who kind of specializes in those comedy dramas. It's about Holly Hunter. She's kind of she's in her 30s, but she's at that age where she's kind of being pressured into being married. So she goes off to the Caribbean to like learn the real estate trade, and she meets Richard Dreyfuss, who's kind of this very abrasive businessman. They fall in love. They have like a May-December romance because he's a bit older. He comes back and meets her family, and that causes some friction amongst the members of the family. It's a really good movie. I would recommend everybody watch it. Probably one of my favorite Richard Dreyfuss roles.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not What About Bob?
Oh, well,
We'll get to What About Bob.
wait for a couple months from now.
We'll get there. But yeah. Between that and What About Bob, he had a great year.
Mm-hmm.
Really good choice roles for Danny Aiello too, and Gina Rollins, and Laura San Giacomo for Just Shoot Me.
And After Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
Flatliners.
It's good. It's one of those movies that balances comedy and drama, where the comedy's funny and the dramatic stuff's real poignant, and it works together perfectly.
That's a shame. We should have done that.
Yeah. Damn it. Back down to the dredges. Ski School came out, which is basically almost like a Cinemax sex comedy. They took Dean Cameron from Summer School and tried to make him a lead, and he doesn't have the charisma to hold the centerpiece. It does allow those. There's actually a lot of nudity in this for Jimmy, so he'll like that. But the comedy is just lame.
I brought up boobs a lot this episode.
We'll say though, the choreography of the ski footage, phenomenal.
Okay.
Not that you go to see a movie like this for that, but the second unit stuff, very well done.
I'm interested in the first unit stuff.
The boob stuff.
The boobs.
Right. Not Without My Daughter, with Sally Field.
Yeah.
He plays an American expat who's trying to move back to the United States to get away from her abusive husband in Iran. I've never seen this, but from what I've heard, it's kind of a soap opera.
I have seen it.
What did you think?
I like Sally Field, and I already knew her from a couple things at that point. I was still a kid when I saw it, but it's pretty maudlin.
Yeah.
It ends how you might expect it to. Like everything works out for the best.
Right.
There's a lot of scenes of her trying to get away and like explaining why she deserves to be in a better place to her husband.
Yeah.
People trying to help her, and it's like, yeah, we'll get you there. It's fine. It's not bad. It's just kind of slow. And if you've seen one of these, you've seen them all. I mean, at that point, nothing had really been done like this in a Middle Eastern setting, I guess. So it's kind of interesting, but
true. It's funny. I had thought this was a TV film.
I think it is. I think it's an HBO Showtime original or something, because I saw it on one of those.
Yeah.
It's fine though. I mean, if you like Sally Field, I think it's worth it.
Okay.
Just because she is good, giving a good, like an acting class on her kind of style.
Yeah.
So it's worth it for that reason. Same as like it was worth it for us to see Gregory Hines as fans of his.
Right. God, I wish we were watching Running Scared. I wish that came out in the 90s.
That's how I feel good.
Lionheart came out, which was one of Jean-Claude Van Damme's fighting competition movies. He's done a few of those. This is another one where he plays like a legionnaire who, after his brother gets injured, he has to go into these underground fighting arenas in order to raise money for his family. It's very nondescript, indistinguishable from those other movies. Actually, speaking of maudlin, it gets pretty maudlin at times. Cadence, which is a Martin Sheen directed film with Charlie and Ramon Estevez, so it's almost like a family affair. Charlie Sheen plays this soldier who's pretty reckless, kind of playing off of Charlie Sheen's real life persona.
Hadn't he just been pulled over and
Yeah.
for a DUI at that point?
He gets into a drunken brawl. He gets he gets his knuckles tattooed, so he gets sent to the brig with all African American detainees, and the guy running it is Martin Sheen, and so they have a bit of a psychological tussle between the two of them.
It's interesting how many movies they all do together with Emilio and Charlie, Emilio and Martin, Ramon and them. It's kind of interesting. They like working with their family.
Mm-hmm.
They also do have good chemistry because of that. So.
Yeah. And Lawrence Fishburne's in this actually.
Oh.
I think he might have been credited as Larry,
which is his old buddy from Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
They have scenes together, Martin Sheen and Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
they have a few scenes.
Okay.
But the movie itself is pretty much a procedural. It's not anything good. Flight of the Intruder, John Milius film, which is kind of a dad film in a way. But it meanders. There's no real central focal point for the movie. It's about the A6 bombers around the time of Vietnam.
Oh, those are the I love those planes.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are A6 Raiders.
Yeah. And this is like a few years removed from Vietnam, so they're just doing like a lot of passing by, surveilling the area, and they even have that cliche where the one co-pilot gets shot, and it takes the main character forever to get over the mourning of that. Willem Dafoe's character almost could have been cut out of the movie entirely. It just goes off into a lot of subplots. John Milius definitely has the nuts and bolts atmosphere of being in the military. He clearly knows what being in the infantry is like, but he doesn't tell a very cohesive, coherent, linear story in the midst of that. Men of Respect came out. It's a crime drama that's also a retelling of Macbeth.
Oh, that actually sounds like it could be interesting. Is it similar to King of New York, or is it like that kind of crime drama, but with Macbeth?
I mean, I like King of New York a lot better.
No, I'm just saying like the feel,
the vibes,
the vibe. Yeah.
No, it follows a template of Shakespeare pretty close. It doesn't have the dialogue. It actually has a great cast. The Macbeth character is John Turturro. Lady Macbeth is his wife in real life, who's an actress. Rod Steiger plays the crime boss. Dennis Farina's in it as one of his consigliaries. But other than like kind of transposing a lot of the stuff from Macbeth into mobster lingo, it really has nothing to offer.
Too bad.
Shame. White Fang.
Oh,
Yeah, Walt Disney's live action retelling of who's the author?
Jack London.
Yeah. And Ethan Hawke is the lead. He gets a a notice from his deceased father about inheritance during the gold rush. So he goes along the Yucatan Peninsula to get there. Pretty rousing retelling of that. There's a few times where it gets a little too precious with the Disney stuff, like when the wolf is a cub on its own, sliding down slopes. It plays that cutesy music and stuff like that.
I mean,
But
you're right, Disney.
it's interesting because it has its dual coming of age stories that intersect, because you get to watch the wolf grow up and you get to watch Ethan Hawke grow up, and then they eventually intersect. It's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, it looks good. Have you ever seen this?
I've seen it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I know I liked it as a kid. I just hadn't seen it since.
Yeah, I almost I kind of suggested this, but you two, Corey and Jeff, were kind of interested in Eve of Destruction more just because of that VHS story. And you sold me on it, so I'm fine seeing something new more than something we've kind of seen.
Yeah.
But
I mean, but we should watch it again.
yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it. It's on Disney Plus right now.
I
know that.
So that's pretty much the end of that list. Until we get to our favorite feature of the show, Poster Boy with Jeff.
Yeah. Jeff, you're up.
You ready for this?
Ready.
Jeff, you're on deck.
You were riveted by the
the other features of the month.
Yeah.
Yes. Riveting. That's
Riveting.
Okay. So if you don't mind, for our listeners, describing what is going on in this very busy poster.
okay.
I left the people
All right,
open
so
just
we've
because I don't mind
Oh,
who's in it.
That's
you blurred
So
out a
we've
couple
got-
of them.
a yellow
That's just
car with 7 people towering out of it, driving through what seems like a nice lower Southern California bungalow. One of them looks like Borat, but is not Borat
Borat.
because this is 30 years earlier. The car has a license plate that says Comfort One. So this is leading me to believe that this is some sort of hotel comedy or hospitality.
Almost looks like the Beverly
misadventure.
Hillbillies based on this.
It does.
This looks heavily photoshopped.
Like hey, I'm the one who's guessing. It looks like the Cuban hillbillies. That's what I'm saying. Because it looks like it's got a really nice car that's about I don't know. I'm trying to. It looks sunny, it looks enjoyable, and it looks like it was a box office flop.
He's right about that.
Yeah.
But
This was the best poster, speaking of which. So that's why it says at the bottom, now available on VHS and Laserdisc. It definitely was in theaters,
oh,
but the poster didn't have a lot of this or the catchphrase, which I can show you now.
The catchphrase, a comedy about sex, money, and what people will do for a lot of both. Okay, so now we know that it's actually we don't know.
It's a
anything
comedy,
more.
but you can tell by that zany lettering at the top.
Yes, exactly. It is a hospitality comedy. I'm feeling like that font is going to end up being like the Cool Runnings font.
Yeah,
quite zany. Something. I'm gonna just take. I don't know. They're doing a lot of both, but what about too much? Is it gonna be? I don't know. What is it, like too much sex or something?
I didn't do the best job.
Oh, wow. You got 2 of the words right.
You can kind of see the much, so I wasn't sure if you would be able to tell.
It was either that or I thought it was like 2 nice guys.
2 nice guys.
2 good guys in a bad situation.
It's more like
Andrea Martin and Leo Rossi are in it because those are the two that you did not blur out.
The blurring is just because I kept smudging and it just went into like that's Ralph Macchio in the middle. And
well, just give me a hint as far as like, is it? Well, no, you know what? No hints. Is it gonna be like? Does it have to do with the plot, or is it some like weird character name? Or
I have no idea.
Okay, we haven't watched this.
You might know, Corey.
I know the plot. This movie's almost impossible to find.
Cabin on the Coast. It's a comedy horror movie.
I mean, you mentioned it was very bright there, and then you did say there was too much of something. What do you think there's too much of?
Too much. It's quite sunny, so I'm going to say too much sun.
Wow. He did it.
Hey,
I'm worried the blurring, like I was blurring it pretty well, and it wasn't really going away, so I wasn't sure. Could you tell that it was that?
No.
Okay.
I honestly thought I could tell the two, but then everything else, I'm like, it looked like nasty or nacho or something.
I tried to
too many nachos.
Yeah.
Swirled it up.
The word "two" is very difficult to smudge, so
yeah. I mean,
turns out it's just
Wow. RDJ, Eric Idle, Ralph Macchio, Andrea Martin, and Leo Rossi.
There's a reason why RDJ's in this.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the bottom of the poster.
Wait a minute. Directed by Robert Downey
Senior.
Yeah, I figured that.
Before Corey tells you the plot officially, do you want to take a jab at what this actually is about?
I'm thinking just vacation comedy, that there's some horrible mix-up with some case of mistaken identity, a lot of stolen money being spent improperly, and most likely drugs.
Okay.
But
I'm good with that.
And it ends up accidentally being a prequel to the Golden Girls.
What do you tell
Golden Hotel? Actually, that the tagline really has not much to do with the plot. The plot is about this millionaire who dies, and in his will, he says, whichever one of his two children gives him a grandchild in a allotted amount of time will inherit all of his money. The catch is that his son's gay and his daughter's a lesbian.
Classic 90s comedy.
Hijinks ensue.
Oh boy.
Not where I thought that was going.
No.
Yeah.
Not at all. I was expecting like Knives Out, but in Florida.
Yeah. I had an idea, and then you totally blanked me with what it actually is.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, that is nothing what I expected. Oh, well.
I don't think it was for any of the audience members either.
Yeah, this thing tanked horribly. Obviously.
That's why I went to Laserdisc right away.
Yeah. Guys, I actually wanted to watch this for the podcast just so I could get a sense of what it was like. But because actually I've never seen any Robert Downey Sr. movies. But it's on streaming, but I'm not paying money to see it, and it's hard to find a physical copy. So
it's not at your local library?
No.
So I guess given that this is pretty much just a Terminator ripoff, all I was able to really think of for this, we all kind of chose this end point. What's your favorite rogue robot movie, or where an AI is involved and it doesn't exactly go as planned?
2001.
Well, The Matrix is perfect. 2001 is a good one.
Because The Matrix, it goes rogue AI,
right,
takes over the world, and then rogue humans within the rogue AI.
Yeah. They absorb Jeff into their program.
Yeah, Jeff.
As you
Yes.
can see. For our listeners, his background is Matrix. So,
you can't even. Now it won't glitch.
Yeah. Your arm was going through it before. There you go.
Short Circuit.
Short Circuit 2.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yes.
It's the better of the two.
He's right.
Less Steve Gutenberg.
I'm trying to think, because I just like the movie AI, but Haley Joel Osment doesn't really go off track. He's trying to be. It's a Pinocchio movie.
He goes rogue. He
Well,
leaves.
there's also Hackers. Hackers
does
is
go
good,
rogue.
but like
Hackers is
that's
alright.
more of a rogue computer virus
Yeah, that would
than it is
And
AI.
if that's the case, I'd just go with War Games, just because it's trying to get at. Trying to think.
Okay.
There's another.
Also, Ex Machina is really good.
Oh yeah, I'd definitely go with Ex Machina. I love that movie.
I would also back up Corey on 2001 because like
Yeah,
we saw that for the first time, or did I? Yeah, we saw it for the
I had
first time
seen
a while
it
ago.
once 3 years ago in theaters.
Yeah,
They were doing like a
well, then
retrospective
yeah.
of Kubrick.
And like I really
Yeah.
thoroughly loved that movie. It's just like
Great movie.
everything about it.
Yeah. Watching it again, I appreciate it more because that period of time I was falling asleep a lot, and that theater was maybe the warmest theater I've ever seen a movie in. So it very easily put me to sleep, especially when
Yeah.
it's quiet towards the end and he's going through all his weird, like trippy freak out scenes going through time.
Oh yeah.
And I can
Just-
appreciate it more this time because like we were in our own living room. The temperature control was good.
And then also like
Yeah.
we were probably influenced by something.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. Ex Machina though, great film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Did you say one, Jeff? Did you well you said Ex Machina.
I said Short Circuit too.
Oh right.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Johnny Five, man.
I've seen the first Short Circuit. I never saw
That's
the
the first thing I ever saw
What?
Michael McKean in too.
I saw the
Oh
first-
yeah, you know you're right. That is the first thing I saw him in. So.
I think mine was Spinal Tap. I saw that pretty young.
Mm.
Oh no, I got a Rogue AI TV series
Ooh.
reboot.
Oh yes,
Reboot.
Yeah.
The Saturday morning cartoon.
That's coming up soon,
the
isn't
best.
it? Like late 90s.
No, that's like midnight.
Actually, it was like
Yeah.
94.
Yeah, 94, 95.
A couple of years.
Beast Wars comes out
next
like
one.
96, 97.
Yeah, reboot's 94. September.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, yeah.
Any nerds out there that remember reboot? Whew.
Yeah. Not the reboot of reboot.
Yeah, not the reboot.
No. That was like Kid Tron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible.
So this film started in California and ended up in New York, but we're gonna head back to the City of Angels next month for I'm not sure if it's a drama or more of a comedy. I assume with its star, we're gonna be hopefully a little bit of comedy. You know, Corey.
I forget what we picked.
LA Story.
Ah, yes.
Is that more of
It's
a comedy?
it's more whimsical comedy.
Okay. Yeah. I'm a big fan of Steve Martin, so I'm looking forward to this. It's
I'm a
one of
big
the-
fan of Whimsy.
One of the big things that I've never seen of his. I do love Whimsy. It's going to be a lot better than this. I think this is the goal we set for ourselves. So we'll see you next time, I guess. Thanks for listening to us deal with this film. Remember to rate, subscribe, review, everything else. We have our YouTube channel and our Spotify if you're listening on there, or iTunes. So hopefully by now I'll have finally gotten on the other ones. But we'll see. Thanks again, everyone.